again. Thought we'd do a quick total body strength workout using dumbbells. We're going to be really efficient with our time. We're going to do a lot of compound motions with arms and legs, and we're going to hit every muscle group. So let's get warmed up and let's get going. So I want you to stand in an open space, have some freedom of movement behind you. With your feet a little wider than shoulder, just begin to squat. Basic human movement, right? Driving your hips back, making sure that your feet are grounded, and you have a lot of weight into the big toe mound as well as the heels. The hips are the driver, pushing way back, and the spine is growing a little bit longer as you feel warmer. As you stand, I want you to find a little bit of a narrowing of your waist or compressive action from your external core. Then every time you stand, I want you to lift one knee. Let's start right leg. Then your left. Just getting that transfer of weight on one foot. Finding yourself with that same grounding of the foot. As you stand tall, I want you to really fire up the hip extensors of the standing leg. So glutes, hammies, with that same core bracing. Then I want you to take that right knee lift, lunge backward. Then the left knee lift, lunge backward. We have that same grounding of your forward foot. And of course, the same core bracing. Whatever feels good with your arms. You can alternate a sweep like I'm doing, or even just rest your hands on your hips. Whatever feels comfortable. With each lunge back, I want you to add a twist towards the forward leg. Just a little bit of that torso rotation. Let's do a few more of these, getting good and warm. With that torso rotation, I want you to take your opposing hand and reach towards your forward foot. Then take the opposite hand behind your head. Just a little bit more of that posterior pull of the mid-back. Then I want you to stand onto that left foot, find a right knee lift. Wherever you need the hands to be for balance, you're going to take that right hip and start to rotate the femur around within the socket. Think of this causing just a little bit more synovial fluid release, kind of like WD-40 for your joints. You can go fast or slow, but I want you to stay grounded into that left foot. Reverse your hip rotations. Trying to keep a nice solid line vertically. And then go ahead and shake out that left foot. Stand onto the right. Lift that left knee. Same idea with that grounded foot. Rotations from that left femur within the hip socket. Notice any differences from one side to the other, whether in the stance foot, stance supporters, or the active mobility or work from that moving left leg. Reverse your rotations. Kind of lubing up the hip joint, bringing more stability and awareness into your nervous system. Then I want you to go ahead and grab a set of dumbbells and think of these dumbbells being used for a bicep curl as well as a shoulder press. So we're going to combine, like I said, a lot of movements. Take your feet into that squat width, and again, start with just the legs, lowering and lifting. So very similar to where we just were in that little warm-up without any load. Then as you rise from the squat, bilaterally curl your biceps, keeping a really strong connection of your shoulder blades onto your back ribs with that same core bracing. Then at the top of the next curl, hold, give me a shoulder press. Do that squat again, a shoulder press. Like our warm-up, we're gonna transition onto one foot, lift your right knee, hold it, squat, lift the left knee, hold it, squat, lift the right knee, kind of checking in with the loaded balance. Now instead of both arms, just your left arm. Both arms curl, just your right arm in the press. We're gonna see about our multitasking abilities. As you press the arm overhead, extend the knee. So getting a lot of different or variable load changes. Can you keep that spinal extension and that structure vertically as sound from one side to the other? Let's do 2. One more time. Then go ahead and open up those feet. Find a turnout for a little sumo squat. Hands come in front, just the legs lower down and up. So similarly to what we just did, we're gonna add a couple things onto this. Notice right now if you're offloading your heels or your big toe or that middle line of your shoe. Add an upright row as you rise. Do that again. So think of this motion less of a pull back, more of a shortened lateral raise. We're gonna do 4 more just like this. Then I want you to turn it into a lateral raise, straight arms. We're gonna do 8 more here, and then just a little variation. Really long, strong torso. Combine the 2, upright row, lateral raise. Upright row and lateral. 2 more. And 1 more time. Then go ahead and put the weights down. Recline on the floor. Bring your feet flat, about hip width apart. Take those hands behind the head. Gently push your head back to find some support in neck extension. And then just crunch. Every time you lift, I want you to notice a narrowing of your waist with a good strong exhalation. Then take it side to side. We're going to go 8 more. 7. And like the arms and legs, we're going to combine the 2. Give me 1 center crunch. Turn an angle. 1 back to the center. Angle to the other side. 1 center. Side. 1 center. 1 side. Keep this going. Notice when you transition into a side twist that you don't lose the hip pressure or the positioning of the centering of the pelvis. So we're trying to get just a little bit more of that rotation happening more around the thoracic spine versus an excess lumbar motion. We're going to do 4 more. 3 more. Just 2. Head is still actively pushing into your hands. 1 more of each. Then go ahead and turn it all the way over. Find a high plank position. So onto your hands, eyes of the elbows turned forward, shoulder blades in protraction, head in a little bit of pull or retraction with that hip extension and that hollow belly. So we're holding this nice strong plank, and know that an option for a little less wrist load is on your forearms. We're gonna walk our right foot wide, kind of slow, left foot wide, come back to center, then reverse it. Left, right, in, out, out, right, left, in. Now double time that tempo. Out, out, switch sides, out, out, switch sides. Think about moving on a lateral or a horizontal line versus allowing the hips and the torso to twist excessively or down towards the floor. 2 more each. Last time each. That's it. Come all the way back up. Grab your weights. We're gonna go through that whole series one more time, then leave it behind. Hips, feet hip width or wider. Let's go right into that squat curl. Do that again. So we're gonna get to our end point just a little bit faster this round. Since we already know the motions, give me your knee lift with a shoulder press. Squat curl, knee lift, shoulder press. Do that again. You guys notice a little wobble? Because every position is different than the one prior. Trying to find that evenness or continuity. Here comes our knee extension single arm press. Opposing side of the leg and arm. If you're leaning back on that leg extension, see if you can close those front ribs towards the front hips. 1 more each side. Find your sumo squats, and right away I want you to give me a squat row, upright. So really strong squeeze or midline pull, lateral raise. Combine them. 1 row, 1 lateral. We've got 4 more of each. One more round. Go ahead and lose those weights for a moment. Recline on your back. Head pushing into your hands. Basic crunches. Let's take it side to side only. And combine it. 1 center, 1 side twist, center, other side twist. We have 4 more rounds. Three more. Still with that active head push into the hands, so we're not yanking on that forward head position. You have 1 more round. Help pop yourself back up to standing. We're gonna leave that series behind, move on to a little bit of back body. I want you to grab some weights and think rows, but also a long lever rear fly. So maybe not too heavy, since we're gonna be going into a longer arm, i.e. more pressure on the fulcrum. Then I want you to take your feet about hip width apart, soften your knees, and hinge from your hip joint down 2 counts and up 2 counts. So we're still doing a similar hip hinge that we were doing with the squat, but really emphasizing that position versus the knee bend, so the torso stays a little taller. Then I want you to take it down 2 counts, hold, row twice, and stand up 2 counts. Do that again. Down 2, row twice. On your rows, I want you to keep your shoulder blades strongly in place, maybe with a little bit of extra retraction, but without letting them fall forward into protraction. So a little bit more stable. Variation, down 1 count, row 3 times. Come up 1 count, repeat that. Down 1, row 3. Since I like that efficiency, let's mix it up. Give me 1 row to kick back. 1 more row, stand up. 1 hinge, row to kick back. 1 row, stand up. Let's do 2 more just like this. Hinge, 1 row, kick back. And 1 more time, row to kick back. We're gonna change this second row to a rear fly. So hip hinge, row to kick back. Give me 1 rear fly and stand up quickly. Do that series again. Row to kick back. Rear fly, stand tall. We have 4 more rounds. By now you should be noticing a lot of that hip hinging glute hamstring connection. 3 more rounds. Two. One more time. Huge multitasking on this one. And go ahead and lose your weights. Find yourself once again in a high plank. And again, I want you to find the elbows, eyes of the elbows forward, hip extension. Only now you're gonna hinge back, find a downward facing dog, come back to your high plank. Do that again, drop back, down dog. So we're getting a lot of shoulder flexion and rotation here. Now do it in 2 counts. Down dog, plank, down dog. As you plank next time, bring your right knee forward, put it back, left knee forward, put it back again. 2 counts, 2 counts. As you come forward to plank, find that solidness, hip extension, core bracing, shoulder blade retraction, head retraction. We have 4 more. 3 more slow. Should you find that this is already a nice challenge, you feel secure with the tempo, I want you to stay here, otherwise single counts. Hinge, hinge. 7, 6, 4 more. 3, 2, 'Go ahead and lie on your belly. Find your arms and legs in extension and a little bit of that hollow belly feel, so we're not getting a dumping into the low back. With all your limbs, lift up and hold, lower down. Repeat that, lift up and hold, lower down. And again, lift, lower down, Then I want you to take your right hand, touch your left foot behind you. Oppose it. On that reach back, think less of a big dump into the low back. That didn't sound very good. But I don't want you to find more range by letting your back go into an excess extension. Find that same core bracing. If this feels okay, look over the shoulder, touching back. Just gives you a little bit more rotation and tension along that side of the body. We have 2 more each side. One more each. That's it. Let's come back up to standing. Grab your weights for those rows and that rear fly. A couple tricep kickback mixed in. Feet about hip width apart. Going right into it. Hinge forward 2 counts. Give me rows. Stand up 2 counts. Hinge forward 2. Row 2. Little variation. Down 1, give me 3 rows. So a really solid torso. Stand tall that 1 count. Lower down. 3 rows. We're going to do this twice more. Down 1, row 3. Then I want you to stand tall, hinge, row to kick back. 1 row, stand up. Hinge, row to kick back. 1 row, stand tall. 2 more like this. Row to kick back. 1 row, stand tall. Do that again. Row to kick back. 1 row, just a small variation. That last row is a rear fly. So right here, fly. Stand tall. Do that again. Hinge, row to kick back. Solid torso, rear fly. And again, hinge, row to kick back. Really noticing that posterior lower body. And again, hip hinge, row to kick back. Rear fly. You have 2 more reps. One more time. Row to kick back. Rear fly. Lose your weights. Find your high plank. Push back to down dog. Hold. Come forward to high plank, solid hip extension. Do that in 2 counts. Hinge, plank, hinge. Make your hips be the driver. So you have that nice solid stop point. As you come forward, 1 knee rises. Switch. Hip extension, knee tuck. Only an option, 8 reps, single counts. 7 more. Last round of 4. Two. On your belly. Full extension of the arms and legs. Hollow front body. Lift everything. Lower down. Do that again. Lift, hold, hold. Touch back in opposition. We have 4 more reps each side. Look over the shoulder option. Over the shoulder option. Last 2 reps. Don't forget that front body tension. Last one each side. That's it. So we're going to leave that series behind and move on to our last. I want you to grab your weights for a chest press as well as a chest fly. Recline on your back. Find those feet about hip width apart and walk them close to your hips so you have a good foundation point to bridge in that hip extension. Palms face in above your chest, shoulders in protraction lightly. Give me a slow count, 2 count chest press. So as you open, let your elbows touch but not rest to the floor. Then as you rise with those arms, I want you to press the hips into a bridge. Feel those front ribs knit down. Lower down, bridge up. Let's go to single counts. Touch down, push up. Head is actively pushing into the ground. We have 8 more. Really strong with those hip drivers, glutes, and a little hammy. 4 more. Then go ahead and bring those legs to tabletop, 90 degrees at the knee, 90 at the hip. Palms still face in. The whole time, soften the elbow and work from the shoulder, open to a fly or a long arm, longer arm. Our goal here is to maintain some pressure against the floor with the entire back to pelvis. As you open, option 1 or both legs can extend and come back to tabletop. Let's go 4 more. So with a longer lever, more compromised stability into the shoulder, and of course, depending on the weights, we keep that slower tempo. Go ahead and lose 1 weight. Come to a seated position. Find your spine nice and long upright with that same hollowing feel. Lean back slightly, holding that weight at your chest. Rotate it towards your right hip. Come back to center to your left hip. So a nice basic little Russian twist here. As you twist, I want you to notice a pretty centered pelvis. Then as you come to center, press overhead. Rotate left. Press overhead. As you press overhead, I want you to sit a little bit more upright or close that hip into an increased flexion. We're maintaining that solid base of the rib cage. Take away the press, just twist. Then I want you to take away the center, just twist. Side to side. 4 more. 1, 2, 3, that's it. Lose the weights, recline on your back, find your hands behind your head like those crunches earlier, but bring your legs to tabletop and then hug them close. We're gonna go into a bicycle. Bring your opposing knee and elbow towards one another. Instead of pulling the head and jutting the shoulder forward, I want you to maintain that extensive pressure or push back, double time it. Eight more quick counts. 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, Let it go. Grab your weights for those chest presses. Close the feet in. Get ready for bridge. We're gonna start lower half this time with the hands close together, shoulders in protraction, bridge your hips, just up and down. As you bridge the hips, I want you to notice that extension as your priority from the hips versus the back. You have 8 more just legs. Four more, then as you lower, we're gonna lower those elbows into a press. So this time, chest press. Last round of 8. 7. Head still actively pushing into the floor. 'Hold the arms at the top, bring the legs to tabletop. Fly the arms 2 counts. Little longer elbow. And again, palms stay facing in. Option, 1 or both legs, add extension or that layout. Ideally, that low back doesn't excessively arch on the extension of the legs. Let's go 4 more. Two more. Help yourself up, lose 1 weight. Find yourself with that long spine, weight at your chest, lean back slightly, and let's rotate from one side to the other. As you come back to center next time, press overhead. And again, a little twist, a little press. I want you to notice an increased tension across the top of your thigh and into that pelvis. The flexors of the hip pulling you without letting the base ribs flare. Take away the overhead press, just side to chest. Then take away the chest position, just twist, twist. Last 4. 1, 2, 1 more each side. Lose that weight. Find yourself once again reclined, hands behind your head, legs tucked into your chest, and bicycle. Double time this. 8 more quick counts. 8, 7, 6, 3, let it go. Go ahead and extend your arms and legs. Let your rib cage flare, your low back arch, and feel a nice long opening across that anterior torso. Then gently flatten the spine, pull your left knee to your chest, hold it with your right hand, open up your back so you're pulling that left knee towards the right. As you extend the left arm, look towards the left. In this same position, add just a little bit more extension of that left knee, drive the heel away from you, and feel that length travel down the lower leg. Tighten up everything through the torso, bend that left knee, rotate back to center. Go ahead and release it. Right knee comes in, left hand holds it. Gently pull across, open up that right side of your low back. As you release into the floor, extend your right arm and go ahead and look over it. So in this spinal twist, I want you to feel a little bit of that core bracing in a much lighter version. So we're allowing that posterior to find some flexion, or at least some slack. And then go ahead and extend that right leg, drive through the heel, getting into that lower leg just a bit. Go ahead and soften that right knee, pull everything back to center. Take your left leg up to meet your right, your nose to meet your knees, and your shoulder blades to push or to widen your back. And then use the legs for a little momentum. Help yourself forward and up. Come to a standing position. With those feet nice and wide, circle the arms up overhead. As you exhale, release the arms behind your back. Find a shoulder blade squeeze, a little bit of a lift of the arms from your back, and a slight forward fold. If it feels really good, let your knees soften, the sit bones lift, the head anchor towards the floor, and the arms sweep further overhead. Gently release your arms to the floor. Take a nice full deep breath in. Feel your waist expand. And as you exhale, compress, roll all the way back up to standing. That's it. Nice quick workout. See you next time.